Hi guys, Chris here with Orbitan Quadrocopters. Um, this is going to be an unusual video and not one I'm happy about making whatsoever. And certainly hope I won't have to make another one like this. So what's it going to be about? Well, it's going to be about telling you a bit about myself, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about another quad maker known as Quad Addict, and also known as Irish Kendall on YouTube. And this is actually going to be a video response to a video that he recently uploaded. So let's start with myself. My name is Chris. I live in Taiwan. I'm Canadian living in Taiwan. I've been flying quadcopters for a while now, and not that long ago I started making frames for myself, and I wanted something tough that wouldn't break easily because I was learning to fly acrobatics and I kept breaking stuff and having to wait for parts, and I figured there had to be something that can be done about that. Build something that's stronger, tougher, that's able to, handle a crash and get back in the air without having the need to repair it. And so I experienced with a bunch of different materials. Eventually ended up contracting a CNC factory. I put together some designs and then had them cut, had them made, and then I started to basically selling these frames. It was never intended to be a business, frankly. It just started off as a hobby, and I'm trying to keep it that way as much as possible. Although I've sold so many of them now, I've been so busy that it's very difficult to not call it a business. And soon I will have this website here will be up soon. This has not been released yet, and I guess I'm going to be a vendor of quadcopters officially once this site's up. Now, the other person I'm going to talk about today, his name is Ken, also known as Quad Addict, and he's quite a famous frame maker based in the U.S. He's the maker of the famous iconic X frames, essentially. And he's been in the business of making frames for a very long time, pretty much since quadcopters starting emerging, in the hobby. And he's designed a whole bunch of different stuff, and the stuff he makes nowadays is quite amazing. It's very, very nice stuff, like this frame, for example, just beautiful. This is the kind of designs he has. He designs the stuff himself, and he actually mills it himself in his house using his own equipment. Quite a talented quad maker. I've actually owned one of his quads in the past, one of his frames in my earlier days when I was learning to fly acrobatics. So this is Ken, and then this is me, and then what we're going to talk about today mostly is this guy here. His name is Bryan's Flyin, and that's his username on rcgroups.com. And essentially, both Ken and I, who are independent quad makers, have run into some pretty disturbing issues with this person. As a buyer. Basically, Bryan's Flyin is purchasing frames from both myself and from Ken at quadcopters.us, and it has not been an easy thing. He has not been easy to deal with, let's put it this way. So I'm going to start at the beginning because I've had problems with him first. Eventually I ended up warning Ken about it shortly after Ken had the exact same issues with him. And what it is that Bryan buys frames bought from myself and from Ken, and then he turns around and tries to market them as being his own design, his own frames, and then he proceeds to call us both liars and whatnot, and claims to have ownership to the designs of basically custom quads, custom frames that were made for him, but not by him, certainly not by him, and also that were not essentially handed to him as in, like, here's your quadcopters, they're now yours, you can do whatever you want with them. There's essentially, we designed these frames based on very vague ideas, and in my case very rudimentary drawings made with, didn't even use a ruler when he drew these designs he sent me. They were like really, really basic designs, which I will make another video probably to show those, but this video is going to be posted on RC groups, and the administrators on RC groups are taking issues with me posting these pictures of Bryan's designs based on copyrights infringement. So that's their right that they administrate the site there. So I'm just going to take that onto YouTube in order to show these designs. But for now, let's just go back to the beginning and explain to you what happened between me and Bryan. Then I'll tell you what's happening currently between Bryan and Quad Addict, aka Ken with quadcopters.us. Essentially, I met Bryan on RC groups, and he had some requests for some frames. He wanted to buy some. Actually, at the time, he wanted to buy some quadcopters fully built from me, and then he was using these Quattro Wing Quattro ESCs, and the reason why he was using those is because he didn't know how to solder. And the Quattro come with all the bullet connectors pre-soldered, so he had some special requests for me to build some frames for him that were capable of fitting these types of ESCs, so that he could just connect them without having to do any soldering. And I built a few of those for him. And then I ended up actually teaching him how to solder. Made some videos for him that I sent him. At least, I think I shouldn't say videos. I'm trying to keep this as honest as I can here. I think I made one video to show him how to solder bullet connectors, and then I also sent him many PMs on RC groups and answered a whole bunch of his questions to help him essentially learn how to build quadcopters. And he ended up ordering some parts for me. It was basically some custom requests. He wanted me to make something a bit different for him, and I actually made it clear to him that whatever I would produce would remain mine to do what I want with. I would not produce something and then ship it to him, and then it would be just his to do what he wants with it. Essentially, anything that's done through my endeavors as a quad maker, through what I call Armatan Productions, are my designs. They're my product, and I can sell it. I can sell this stuff to him, but essentially the rights to produce these things remained mine. And this was made very clear to him, because we've actually had some discussions where he was interested in distributing product in the U.S. and actually came close to taking him on as a partner, but something happened. And what it is I'm going to show you an email here. I received an email from him, and this is what he wrote to me here. He said, I do need at least one more CNC 355. Here is why. I know this guy on YouTube was super cool. I've known him for 4 years, even drove 500 miles to meet him. His name is Dave Herbert, and his YouTube name is Night Flyer. He has 25,770 subscribers and over 48 million views. He is a good, honest man. He saw my videos of the Armatans, and we have talked, and he wants to do a video on and promote you if they are as good as I say they are. He said he would pay, but I want to give it to him. If you are ready, the guy will sell some freaking quads for you. If he flies it and likes it, you are set. He will, I guarantee it. And this is the interesting thing here. He says, not trying to get in your business, I just want to help you if I can. I will do as I say and wait to receive mine that you have mailed. Anyways, the part that's relevant here, not trying to get in your business, I just want to help you. This is really interesting because let's go back to my web page here. This is my web page. You know, my business is building quads, is what it comes down to. Sure, I sell frames, but the reason why I've had success and I've sold many of these is because I sell them fully built. And this is something that not many companies have done up until recently. Essentially, if someone wanted to fly a quadcopter that was ready to fly, the choices were quite minimal. most people would have to buy the components, flight controller, ESCs, motors, buy a frame and assemble it all, and figure out how to connect all this together so that it'll fly for them. And what I was doing myself, what I've been doing, is doing all this work for them and putting together a quad that's essentially only needs a receiver and a battery, and then people can go fly, right? And so essentially, while I am a quad maker, I'd say without hesitation that I guess my business is primarily a build service. Now, why am I saying this? Well, it's simple. Now, first, let's go back to the email and let's look at my response to Bryan's request to get a frame, a quadcopter or a frame for Night Flyer. Anyways, I say to him, I said, anyways, regarding Night Flyer, you are free to buy a frame from him, or you can tell him that you talked to me and I agreed to let him have one for free for him to test and review on his YouTube. I'll send you a free one and you can pass it on to him. Now let's look at my next request, my next response to him. I say, hey, just to be clear, I'm not offering to build that guy a quad. I'm just offering a free frame. And let's look at my next reply. Just restating this in case you missed my last email, I offer the free frame for your bud to test and video, not a built quad, just a frame. So this is what happened, and Bryan basically wanted to build it to make it a RXR quad that's basically ready to fly, to send it to Dave Herbert, aka Night Flyer. And this is the video that Night Flyer, yeah, that's his username here on YouTube. And this is the video in question. It's called Heavy Hauler Custom Built CNC Quad from Bryan's Flyin Custom Quads or something like that. And what this video is, it has nothing to do with promoting my business. Now, just recall that a minute ago I was explaining to you that primarily what I do is I run a build service. You know, I build quads ready to fly for people. And then turns out that this video, when I watched this video, I found out that suddenly Bryan was starting his own build service. He used my product, my frame, to get in touch with this video maker, Night Flyer, to promote his new build service. And of course I was not really happy. Now let's just watch 1 second of this video. You'll see what I'm talking about. Listen to this.
Bryan, you dialed it in perfectly. You know, if you buy one from Bryan's Flyin, I know that he makes a video of it and you get to see it flying, and he's also on call, personal call, and guarantees his machines will work perfectly. That's a pretty good deal. He'll even call you and walk you through the setup for your transmitter so you can't help but succeed. I was impressed and I'm pretty anxious to try it.
Okay, well what you would want to do is turn on your radio and plug in your battery to the quad.
Alright, hang on.
Alright, let's go back to what Bryan sent to me when he asked me to help me. Let's go back here. I'm not trying to get in your business, I just want to help you if I can. And so, you know, I explained to Bryan that how is this helping me? I essentially make 95% of my business is building quadcopters, you know, ready to fly. And next thing you know, we've got a video here from a fellow who's, you know, a very talented video maker with over 25,000 subscribers, basically showcasing Bryan's newfound business, which is in direct competition with me. And not only that, but it's using my product, my frame. And to top it off, he's based in the US, I'm in Taiwan, so it's, you know, if Bryan ends up doing this and actually building quadcopters, you know, he is going to be competition for me because I'm further away, and so shipping time, delays and all that from shipping from overseas, you know, he can be competition in terms of the US market. Now, I don't think he can compete with European market and whatnot because shipping is really cheap from here. He will have a real hard time, you know, beating my prices, but that's not the point. The point is, you know, if Bryan wants to build quads and whatnot, look, it's a free world out there, and he is absolutely free to do that, and I have no issues with it. But what I took issues with is to being told, I want to help you, let's please send me some stuff, I'm going to buy this stuff from you. And I actually said, well, wait, I'll give it to you, I'll just give you a frame, and you can, send it to him. And then have him turn around and use this product, my product, to promote his new venue, which is essentially what I've been doing. So result of this is I decided to stop selling to this guy. I just said, look, this is not right. I decided to stop selling product to him, and this is when things quickly went downhill. At the time I had sent some parts to him, quite a bit of it. He was a prolific buyer, and then he ended up putting some threads now on his blog on RC Groups, where he essentially was trying to sell my product, and this is one of them here. He called this one the squid, the black squid 530, and in his video, in this post, he's actually, saying they're in production, you can buy them from me. And this is actually hilarious, because in the very same posts in his blog there, entitled "Black Squid Made an Outdoor Flight," he actually proceeded to down talk my product, and he was comparing his product with mine, essentially saying that his product is better. But I made it all. I shipped that stuff to him, so he's using some of my product to compare to other products that I made, when it's all stuff that I made in order to try to, attack the credibility or to comment negatively on the quality of my quadcopters that I sell, using my own product in comparison. It's just totally nonsensical. And of course I ended up posting in there, saying my mind, posted pictures of, I'd say, childish images he'd sent me as what he calls designs, and it didn't work well. Essentially, I ended up banned on RC Group for about a week and whatnot. The points were reversed. I put in an appeal, and eventually I had my account reinstated, but it was not a pleasant situation. And after that, I just thought, I'm just going to move on, let the guy do whatever he wants to do. I've actually even made my designs open source, and the only condition is that if you want to use them, just make sure you let people know where you got it from, but do whatever you want with them. I didn't care. I just wanted to go back to having fun, building quads and flying and enjoying the hobby. And then shortly after that, this is all the threads you see here: reserved, 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 all these reserved thread. Well, these threads are basically threads that he went in and edited and removed information from it, because in all these threads here, he was showcasing product from, this is where he got involved with Ken, with Quadcopter US. He was showcasing product, saying that he would be building these quads, and at the time he was actually using, the proper name, except he was changing the name of some of these frames. For example, the Iconics frames by Quad Addict, he would rename that the Bryconics, as in Bryan Conics. It was quite pathetic, really. Of course, Quad Addict, or Ken, didn't quite agree with that, and he expressed disagreement with Bryan, saying, you can't rename my frames like this or whatnot. And then shortly after that, the exact same thing happened, where Bryan stopped getting involved. He moved away from dealing with Ken, and then back in his blog again. Now he's showcasing product right here, that this time they're not made by myself, they're made by Ken, quadcopter.us. These are all parts that basically Ken made and sent to him, and now he's renamed the whole thing again, just like he did to me, and he's basically going to try and sell these things now, which is essentially all lies. He didn't design any of this. This was designed by Ken. In fact, in this case, he did not even send any drawings to Ken. He just sort of you know, had conversation with him, saying, expressing things he would like to see, but at the end of the day, it's Ken who had to sit down, you know, and get to work and put together designs for all this, cut all these parts, and then package it, send it to Bryan, and then Bryan renames them the Hammerhead Custom Quadcopters, and they're not Hammerhead Custom Quadcopters, they're Quad Addict parts. Like the center plates are Ken's part, Quad Addicts parts, the domes are Quad Addicts parts. It's really dishonest, and I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. Now, to make matters worse, he's actually started a thread now, because you see, he got wind that that Ken and I have been communicating, and that we're both not happy with him, and I think he's been paranoid a little bit, because, you know, he's burnt bridges with not one but two quadcopter makers now, and he got wind that we thought, you know, about ways of exposing him, and this is basically what these videos are now. But, you know, he's trying to be pragmatic about it, and he went and posted a thread in his blog again, where of course he can delete any replies that he's not happy with, called Trolls. Well, to begin with, this is not permitted on rcgroups.com. You're not supposed to use thread to tarnish someone else's reputation, and you're certainly not allowed to call people trolls. It's a form of backseat moderating, you could say. And now he's going on telling that we're both liars and we're both trolls, and you know, it's hilarious, you know. And it's funny how it started off as being me having this argument with him, and now it's two of us quad makers having this argument with him. And I think this is going to be enough for, you know, essentially for people that are not, you know, privy to all the details in this. I think it should be quite common sense that if two quadcopters who basically have good reputations, like I have a pretty good reputation with RC Groups for giving good service, treating people right, and then Ken, you know, has got a long standing of years of really taking really good care of business and building really good product, and so it comes down to the words of two quad makers now against the word of this one guy, who's, you know, and the evidence is just overwhelming as well. Got some posted some messages here from Ken saying, Ken says something, your quads, I'm going to be working on your frames tonight or something like that. You know, this essentially just means I'm going to be working on your frames, as in the frames you ordered from me, not your frames, as in your designs, your frames, your right to keep these things. It doesn't make any sense. But, you know, Bryan is turning all this around, trying to, I don't know, like fabricate some out of context evidence, and it's just so transparent. And that's not all. You know, back when we're looking at this thread here, what's it called? This one here, let's see, the Black Squid thread. In his blog post, he was saying how, oh, he's got about 20 pre-orders and they're busy and they're getting overwhelmed with private messages and emails, and they're smoking busy building all these quadcopters. They're in production today. And then so Ken contacted him and said, hey, why are you taking money for 20 frames I have not built yet? Well, why are you doing that? And Bryan said, oh, don't worry, I don't actually have these orders. It's just lies. He said to Ken, he says, I'm just trying to gather interest. I'm just trying to, you know, basically sound popular, sound busy making quads, when none of it was true. There were no such 20 pre-orders. And now he's doing the same, but way worse this time. This time he's saying that he said that he bought all these machines, and that he's hired 6 staff. Sorry, he said he's got 4 full-time staff, and it's all right there, black and white, in his blog on RC Groups. He's got 4 full-time staff, and that probably 2 more by the end of April. And he's posting images here which are quite obviously not images of machines he owns. Like this picture, for example, here is showing a lot of metal on the shelf in the background. Have nothing to do with quad making. This other machine over here is actually a punch machine. It's got nothing to do with quad making. And then this picture here, where is it? This one's showing a forklift in the background, all this stuff. It's just ridiculous. And again, you know, he's saying that they've got all these orders and they're busy and got full-time employees. You know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that you just don't go from, you know, day one with 4 employees in this business. It doesn't work like that. You need to have great, very, very good success with, you know, at least 1 model to even be able to hire 1 staff, never mind 4 on day 1. So it's all false propaganda. It's all false information. It's basically lying and trolling and lying to the entire RC Group community, trying to gather interest for something that doesn't actually exist. That's not true. And it's, you know, it's quite frustrating reading this stuff. When you read it, it's just like, man, you know, can this guy just say the truth for 1 minute? Can he just stop lying and, you know, I don't know, go get his own frames, build something, do something, just stop taking people's parts and lying and making up stories about everything. Just, you want to sell quads, fine, design quads, get them cut and sell them, but you don't need to do that with our product. And what's even more hilarious now is that he's actually, in this thread here, he's challenging both Quad Addict and myself, right, to you know, to get it on, right? Here it is. It's just ridiculous. I challenge these two to stop acting this way and let our products do the talking. Excuse me, his product is our product. That's what doesn't add up here. He's trying to go into competition, saying let's let our product do the talking, when he's actually using all parts from Quad Addict at the moment. So it's like, hey, I got your parts, and now I want to compete with you. Let's see, with the same parts. It's just nonsense. Like, I don't understand why some people are not, you know, all over these threads laughing about this. And I think some people probably are, but we just don't see it because he deletes every single response that he doesn't like. Anyways, I think I'm going to end this real soon here. I think I pretty much said everything I wanted to say about this. You know, essentially this video, as I said, is going to be a video response to Quad Addict's video. And, you know, the idea is to just put an end on this guy's lies and expose him for what he's doing. And, you know, I wish him all the best, frankly, but I hope he can just get his act together. And if he wants to be a designer, well, guess what? Then he just got to start designing. If he wants to be a designer and a quad seller, well, guess what? Saying that you got 20 orders ain't going to cut it. Actually having 20 orders now that might help. And so, you know, get busy. Go do something else than trying to hurt honest people who do good business, and, you know, and who have basically been quite giving to the community and to the hobby as a whole, especially Ken, for quite some time now. So, you know, what you're doing there, Bryan, is not right, man. And this is pretty much the very last time that I'm going to address you personally. So thanks for watching, guys. And then, yeah, that's it. Cheers. Chris here.